I'm being completely honest, I think Sneyd was offside for his try. Because when the ball went to ground, I think Lane accidentally kicked it and Sneyd picked it up. And he was 2 foot in front of him. But, you know.
Yeah, I don't remember picking up on anything like that, but it did feel like in that 20 minutes, in every which way, be it the decisions or the way the players were playing on both sides, the field did seem tipped towards Huddersfield's goal line, with your guys steamrolling down that way and making sure they put some damage onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, you know, Jack Brown comes on, scores with his first touch again.
I know, reminiscent of his debut last year in Catalans, or was it 2 years ago now? It feels like he never plays, but he's been around a while. Yeah, good of you to mention Manu Mau, I think, because everyone else is just talking about the people who you didn't expect to play well, which was everyone else in that forward pack.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I thought Manu Mau, and, Beretta as well, he makes some howlers, but again, he had a good game. To be honest, it's another one of those that's difficult to pick a star player because Hull played very well and Huddersfield didn't.
Yeah, well, the League Express went with 3 points to Jordan Johnston, 2 points to Albert Kelly, and 1 point to Jack Brown, who also had a question mark about his try. But let's say it wasn't.
Although I think if you had played the Jack Brown try on, whether he touched it, whether he was on the line or not, the Huddersfield player then rolled him and he grounded it the other side.
Yeah, it's just whether he maintained possession the entire time, I think, on that.
Yeah.
We never saw it all the way through, did we? But
No,
it was
they didn't
given
roll
anyway.
it through.
And so let's say he did get it down, and the fact that it was given and he got it down, it was a great try. I mean, the way he hit that ball, the way he dominated Ashton Golding, who's a very, a lot smaller than him, but a very good defensive fullback.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it was just the energy and enthusiasm from those young fringe forwards. I mean, some of them aren't like fresh out of the academy young, are they? Fash, Lane, Johnston. They've been around a bit, but
yeah. No, I thought Johnston and Cater were really impressive.
Yeah, definitely, and Brown as well, like completing that 5. I think.
Yeah.
They were a huge part of this win for your side, because if you look at the way the scoreboard went as well, you actually lost the second half on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was surprising, was it? You're coming into this game where energy level is going to drop off.
Yeah.
Flash got it perfect.
That's the key thing, isn't it, really? I was worried again, you just think some of these players, well, they've not been able to do any real training. Some of them, have possibly been quite ill. We just don't know. Possibly not quite ill, but a little bit unwell. We just don't know any of these things, but it's certainly not going to help, is it, coming back for training, playing one match and then having another 2 weeks where you can't train again. And
playing one match where you were that bad as well.
Yeah, it's not really...
I imagine lots of Zoom video call sessions were taking place about how to do things differently. But the big change was...
But Andy last had COVID, so you don't know.
Yeah, good point. But the big change was that Jordan Johnston came into the starting lineup and Danny Houghton was dropped to the bench. And, I mean, when was the last time that sort of thing happened? And wasn't it just about time?
I think that we've said for a long time Houghton can't do 80 minutes anymore. Personally, I always thought we'd go the other way, where we started with him and then brought someone on to spell him. But I thought Johnston was perfect, and then, bringing Houghton on. I mean, I know he was needed in the halfbacks as it happened, but, it worked well.
Yeah, my last note on this game is just to flick something back in Huddersfield's direction. But I really liked Ash Golding's try. I thought it was a really clever set move that Huddersfield pulled off there, and took advantage of the fact that the moral vacuum actually had a good game, and he hoovered up some of the defenders on the line that he ran, and then Ash Golding slipping through on the sort of the step that he made. Really, really nice, clever try, but way way too little in this game of that from Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
I don't like Gavitt either.
No, well, I'm surprised actually. Tom didn't mention at all that in his fan views. So weird how he mentioned it on one game but not the other, where the same thing happened. But anyway, let's move on to the last game of the weekend, and the most one-sided game of the weekend, arguably, alongside the Leeds-Salford game, potentially. But Warrington, on home soil, battered Wakefield Trinity. It was 18-0 at half-time. The Symmetry was rounded out with a 36-0 full-time victory. Marcus Griffiths was the referee. In terms of the stats, 458 more metres at a massive 2.6 metres per carry better average game. They were over 9 metres per carry again in this one, Warrington. 14 breaks to 1. It just emphasises wire superiority over Trinity. They also enjoyed a 5.5% better team tackle success rate.
At 14 breaks to 1, though, they should have scored more than 36 points.
I think on some of the tries, they had a break and then got themselves around not breaking and then broke again. I think that's what must have happened. Yeah, you're right, yeah. It does scream more than 6 tries, doesn't it, that? But not to be. Individually, Ben Curry with a try, 235 metres, 2 clean breaks. He had one of those breaks, didn't he, where his first intercept or picking up an error or whatever, where he went most of the distance but couldn't quite get away from one of the players. Darryl Clark, 1 try assist, 42 tackles, 8 tackles, 134 metres. He was outstanding in this one. Tom Lynham, 150 metres, 2 clean breaks. Josh Charnley, 1 try, even though the commentator missed it, 165 metres and 2 clean breaks. For Wakefield, the biggest meter maker was the young man who was put onto the wing this week, Jack Croft, normally a centre, but 156 metres from him. Kyle Wood, 48 tackles. Tinner Albright Alzirona, 42 tackles, 124 metres, 3 successful offloads, so he went both ways. And Joe Westerman, 117 metres, 4 successful offloads. 2 fan views. Do you want to give us the first one?
Yep, so EFC78JU said, nilled another opponent, first Saints and now Wakey. If we keep on going like that, it will be the road to the Grand Final 2020 and are undefeated in the lockdown fixtures.
Yeah, Warrington, like Wigan and St Helens, are undefeated, aren't they, after we've come out of the break?
Mr. EFC.
POB the Viking said, woeful from Wakefield. Obviously, he's only looking at this one way, the Viking. Yeah. Ben Curry picked up a caution for a dangerous contact. I don't remember there being any issues in this game that I can remember. But do you know what? Even though it was really one-sided in the end with the scoreboard and stuff, I enjoyed watching this game. It felt like hugely inconsequential in that you knew what was going to happen. Wakefield knew what was going to happen. Warrington knew what was going to happen, and it happened. But I don't think Wakefield were like really bad. I just think they played at the level that they are with the team that they've got at the moment and the issues they've had around it and stuff, and the injuries they even picked up through this game and stuff. They played where they're at, is how I felt about it. But they played well for where they're at. They're just not anywhere near as good as Warrington. So when Warrington executed, it led to tries, whereas when Wakefield did, it led to either an error or Warrington making a good defensive read.
Yeah.
I just weirdly enjoyed it, and I don't want to enjoy Warrington winning easily, but there you go. Who stood out for you in this one?
I haven't seen this one, I have to say, because we were late watching the whole match, so we watched the whole match when this was on.
Everyone knew what was going to happen, like I said. Austin picked up...
And to be honest, I struggled even to find the score out for a long time. Like, best to see what the result is. I kept looking through Twitter and nobody was passed any comment on it. I had to go knock on Super Brew to find a result.
Well, there you go. Well, in the Albert Gold Hub, Blake Austin got 3 points, Ben Curry 2 points, and Toby King, who scored a delightful try, actually. He's really impressed me this year, got the 1 point. Blake Austin, he probably almost definitely had his best game since he got injured last year in the Cup semi-final. I think, was it the Cup? Yeah, it was the semi-final when he got injured in. Ben Curry's journey back to his best is probably complete as well. the pick up and run away for a try against the rest of the side when he's a second rower just shows the athlete that Ben Curry is. But yeah, Blake Austin was outstanding. He was involved in everything in this one. His hat-trick that he scored was a sequence of good scores, really, but probably his last try where he showed good support play to Rashford and Matt Davies, who really put full effort into the fact that he got given a chance to play in this game. I think that was the pick of the tries. Austin's hat-trick try, but all of his tries were classic Austin from what we saw in the first half of 2019. So worrying, I guess, maybe for the rest of the league that he's looking back to his best.
Yep.
So I picked out my stat line of the week as Ben Curry's 1 try, 235 metres and 2 clean breaks. I think 235 metres from a back rower is rare, so that's one of the reasons why. Plus, he earned me a lot of Dream Team points by that performance, so that's another reason why.
Well, my stat line of the week is 488 more metres from 60 more carries and 7.5% better team tackle success rate.
There you go. Yeah, that is a lot more ball, isn't it, really? We didn't dwell on that enough about how much more ball Hull had than... But that was rolled in the errors that Huddersfield made in the 6 agains that you guys were able to earn as well. Player of the week, I picked out Blake Austin from that last game. I know it's the game we had the least to talk about in a way, but he was so present in that game. When you saw some of the other games, it was hard to pick out that one dominant present force. And I'm not going to pick Liam Farrell every single week. So Blake Austin was my player of the week. And highlight of the week, I'd probably pick out his hat-trick try, as the one where Warrington did the most exciting stuff with a couple of offloads, a half break and an offload, and then a break and another offload, and then him supporting to score, and I just thought that was a good try. Who am I kidding? The best try of the weekend was Joe Burgess's, but whatever.
Well, I think for me, the player of the week was Albert Kelly. And the highlight moment was Mahir Fanua's very, very well-timed tackle.
Fair enough. We do like seeing big hits. We just don't like seeing people get hurt, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you want to read us through the standings then?
Yeah, so unfortunately at the moment we're going to top on 14 points with St Helens and Warrington on 12, then Catalans and Leeds on 10. Castleford, Huddersfield and Hull FC all have 8 points, Salford and Wakefield on 4 and Hull KR on 2 are all starting to be cut adrift from the top 4 chase.
Yeah, in the predictions, the revised match predictions, so we only had 4 to go at that rather than 5, and I've got 2 out of 4. I don't know. And Tim got 3 out of 4 from the ones we predicted last week. In the Super Roo, I stay top despite getting the wooden spoon this week, backed up by my 2 correct predictions. Tim is in second, wearing the yellow cap, Alan third, and Sarah fourth. And then in the wider world of Super Roo, Steve Pye, we heard from in the match reviews this week, Hull FC fan, he stays top of that. John Bennett, I think he's a Cass fan, wears the yellow cap this week, so well done to those two. And then in the Fantasy League, Alan Bagley, of course, stays top. Continued well done to Alan for his dominance, but Phil White had the best score this week. Wigan fan Phil, remarkable 825 this week from just 5 games.
That's
one
ridiculous.
Of those games rearranged at the point where would you be really thinking about changing your team or not? That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
When I saw my score this week, because I had my back row was Farrell, Curry, and Yates, so I'm thinking points galore, right? When I went onto the Fantasy League and I saw someone had beat me, I was gutted, but then you've got to take your hat off to 825. Remarkable performance.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get that score normally, do you?
No, exactly. In a full round of 6 weeks, it would be a significantly impressive score, wouldn't it? You're right. Okay, well, thanks everyone for getting their fan views in anyway on this week. Make sure you look out for links to the Google form on next week's games. We're now going to move into other results, where it's time to talk about the NRL. into other results where it was round 16 in the NRL. Things are starting